Humayun was a Mughal emperor. He once ruled a vast and wealthy land, but he had lost his great kingdom. His cunning enemy, Sher Shah Suri, was a powerful Afghan leader. Sher Shah had defeated Humayun in several crucial battles, so Humayun was forced to become an exile. He wandered, defeated and disheartened in the harsh, unforgiving deserts of Sind. His situation was very grim indeed. He had only a few loyal followers left with him, sharing his misfortune. Humayun felt a deep and gnawing despair. He had lost his magnificent throne in Delhi. He had lost his splendid capital city. His future looked extremely dark and utterly uncertain. He was far from his past glory, a shadow of his former self. His money and essential supplies were running out very fast. He had to depend on local rulers for any kind of help, but their assistance was not always certain, nor was it always freely given. Many days were filled with anxiety. Amidst all these pressing troubles, there was some good news. This news brought a small flickering ray of hope into Humayun's life. His beloved wife, Hamida Banu Begum, was pregnant. This was a significant development. It meant his family line, the Timurid dynasty, could continue. The baby was expected to be born in Umakot. Umakot was a small remote fort located in Rajputana. It offered a safe, albeit temporary, place for the empress. Umakot provided a much-needed refuge. However, Humayun was still a king without a kingdom. The local Rajput ruler of Umakot, Rana Prasad, was kind and hospitable. He gave Humayun and his small retinue shelter and protection. But the contrast between his title and his reality was stark. Humayun was a royal emperor, a descendant of Tamerlane and Babur, yet he lived like a poor wanderer, dependent on others. The coming birth was a profoundly important event in this sad and difficult time. The wonderful news of Akbar's birth finally arrived. It was the 15th day of October in the year 1542. A messenger, tired but elated, rushed to where Humayun was camped. He was breathless with excitement and the importance of his message. He brought the truly wonderful tidings to the exiled emperor. A son had been born to Humayun and Hamida Banu Begum. This was not just the birth of any baby. This boy could be a future king. He could one day regain the lost empire. Humayun was filled with an immense, overwhelming joy. His happiness was truly boundless. This incredibly good news managed to break through the heavy clouds of his sadness. It lifted his spirits high, giving him renewed strength. He desperately wanted to celebrate this special and auspicious moment. He wanted to share his profound happiness with his loyal friends and companions. These were the brave men who had stayed with him through all his terrible difficulties. They had shared his pain and his exile. But Humayun, in his current state, had very little to give his followers. He was an exiled king, stripped of his riches. He had no gold or silver left in his possession. He had no precious jewels to distribute as celebratory gifts. He could not reward his loyal followers in the usual grand royal way. His once full treasury was now completely empty. He looked around, searching for something, anything to offer. He needed something tangible to mark this joyous and significant occasion. Then, after some searching, Humayun found one small, modest thing. It was a single, solitary pod of musk. Musk is a very fragrant perfume, highly valued in those times. It was considered a precious and rare item, a luxury. He held this small, dark pod carefully in his hand. This tiny bit of musk was almost all he possessed of any material value. He decided to use it in a unique and special way. It was a gesture born from a king who had almost nothing left but his dignity. Humayun took the precious pod of musk. With a sense of occasion, he broke it open carefully before his assembled courtiers. Then he began to distribute small portions of the fragrant musk. He gave a piece to each of his nobles and loyal companions. He performed this act with great seriousness and a touch of ceremony. He wanted this simple act to be deeply meaningful. He desired it to be remembered by everyone present that day in the desert. His followers watched him with rapt attention and curiosity. As he shared the musk, Humayun spoke. His voice was clear and his words were full of heartfelt hope and fatherly pride. He said to his companions, "My dear friends, this small piece of musk is all I have to give you today." He paused, then continued with conviction, "But I pray to God Almighty. Just as the sweet fragrance of this musk now fills this humble tent, so too, I believe, will the fame and glory of my son Akbar one day fill the entire world. These were powerful words of strong belief. The perfume, the musk, had a very deep and symbolic meaning. Musk has a characteristically strong, pervasive and lasting smell. Its rich aroma spread quickly through the desert camp, overpowering other scents. This powerful fragrance represented future glory and widespread renown. It suggested that Akbar's name and his great achievements would spread far and wide, like the scent itself. The act of sharing it signified the future sharing of that success and imperial grandeur. It was a potent symbol of destiny. Remarkably, Humayun's heartfelt prophecy came true. Akbar grew up to become one of the greatest emperors in Indian history. He was, without doubt, one of India's most famous and influential rulers. His long reign was marked by prosperity, justice, and cultural achievements. His fame did indeed spread across the known world, from Persia to Europe. The prophetic words Humayun spoke in a moment of poverty and exile became an astonishing reality. The sweet smell of Akbar's enduring legacy truly filled the pages of history. This poignant story of the perfume and the prophecy became a famous and cherished legend. It is a truly touching and beautiful tale from Mughal history. It vividly shows a father's deep and unconditional love for his newborn child. It also powerfully illustrates the persistence of hope, even in the most desperate and difficult of times. The story itself is quite simple in its elements, but its underlying meaning is profound and resonant. It has been told and retold for many centuries by historians and storytellers. The legend possesses great emotional depth and power. It reveals Humayun not just as a defeated and displaced king. It shows him as a loving, hopeful father full of dreams for his son. His spontaneous gesture with the single musk pod was very personal and deeply symbolic. It was an act of immense faith in his son's future and destiny. He believed in his son's potential for greatness. This feeling of parental hope connects with people everywhere across cultures and time. It is a universal human emotion. The story also carries significant historical importance. It marks the very beginning of Akbar's extraordinary life and journey. It sets a special, almost magical tone for his future reign. It subtly hints at the immense greatness that was to come. This small, personal event, occurring in a remote desert outpost, had big historical meaning and implications. It became a key part of the Mughal dynasty's carefully constructed official story. It served to show their divinely ordained greatness and resilience. The impact of this beautiful legend lasts even today. The perfume story is much more than just a simple historical anecdote. It stands as a strong and enduring symbol of human resilience and the power of hope. It teaches us that hope can survive and even flourish. Even in the darkest hours of despair, new beginnings are always possible. Greatness can, and often does, arise from very humble and unpromising situations. The fragrance of that hope, much like the musk Humayun shared, has lingered through history, inspiring generations.